Hello, hello, hello. It is me, Revian, and today we're going to be watching Simon from Gurren Lagann versus Kyle Rayner, the White Lantern. And I want Simon to win, alright? Kyle's cool and all. But this is Simon the Digger, alright? Ain't nobody better than Simon. He's the one that's gonna pierce the heavens, alright? And then there's Kyle, he's cool, I guess. I'm kidding. The Kyle Rayner's alright. I don't know. I think I like John Stewart. Guy Gardner's kind of and then there's Hal Jordan, who's Hal Jordan.
Simon the Digger, Kyle Rayner, the White Lantern.
Yeah.
Two men born of Earth with the willpower to pierce the heavens and conquer infinity.
He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to
Jump.
analyze their
Weapons,
weapons,
armors, and skills
to find
on
out
the
who would win a death battle. Deep underground, Jiha village lived in dreary isolation, oblivious to the wider world above their squalid cave.
That's where the hero of our story comes in. The young man who would lead his comrades into the sunlight at last. Kamina, the great and mighty.
Yeah.
Oh, and his little brother from another mother, Simon. He was there too, I guess.
Simon was a digger, content to drill endlessly through the dirt.
Careful with that word.
Until the day he found the core drill.
A key that activated the mysterious buried mech that Kamina named Lagann. Under his magnificently masculine leadership, Kamina finally drilled their way to freedom, seeing the sun after a life in the dark.
But the sky was by no means the limit. The surface was ruled by the cruel chimeric beastmen.
The
and Kamina
Beastmen.
would lead his compatriots against
Hey,
them
it's our
to
boy.
reclaim the Earth for humanity, scoring a second mech in the process, aptly named Gurren.
And as befits Kamina and Simon's unbreakable brotherly bond, Gurren and Lagann merged, creating Gurren Lagann.
With Kamina piloting the body and
Yeah.
Simon the head, these two were unstoppable.
Of all the giant fighting robots in all the animes across history, Gurren Lagann might just be the absolute coolest, fueled
The most
by
broken
its pilot's willpower
is what
and
you mean.
capable of making any weapon they can imagine.
Including
Oh,
missiles, a jetpack, a sunglasses boomerang, and of course,
Drills! Wrist-mounted drills, kunai drills, shield drills, kamehameha drills, and everyone's favorite, the
Giga Drill Breaker.
Side note, it is so funny that the only thing they could think of was drills. That's like if I made booze or something my whole personality. What up?
with Gurren Lagann's awesome power,
Goodness.
Kamina laid waste to enemy forces, liberated human villages, and fomented a rebellion against the Beastmen
Man,
King,
this is
Lord
some-
Janome.
Until Kamina died. Oh, wait, shit, was that supposed to happen?
Nope, and it was all Simon's fault. He let his willpower waver, and his soul brother paid the price. After
Yep.
all, he was just a humble digger, at home in the darkness, guided solely by the light of Kamina's spirit.
There we
So
go.
his big bro left him with these final words. Have faith in the Simon
Believe in me that believes in you.
who believes in you. Damn.
Kamina was the one looking up to him the whole time. It was Simon who found Lagann, Simon who pierced the surface, and Simon who would now lead humanity to victory.
Especially
Yeah.
with his gal pal Nia at his side, who helped pull him out of his rut and kick Lord Genome's ass. But victory only lasted 7 years before the anti-spiral attacked.
Unimaginably powerful
Yay.
godlike aliens,
Oh, come
the
on.
anti-spiral feared humanity's potential, what they dubbed the spiral nemesis.
Remember how Gurren Lagann runs on fighting spirit?
That was something. Sorry.
Unimaginably powerful godlike
Whenever I see that, whenever I see this, it's like I think just Majora's Mask, obviously. A little bit of Soul Eater too, just more terrifying. Soul Eater is just goofy. Majora's Mask is pretty horrifying. This is just empty and horrifying.
alien,
Different type
the
of
anti-spiral
scary.
feared humanity's potential, what they dubbed the spiral nemesis.
Remember how Gurren Lagann runs on fighting spirit? Turns out that's just a manifestation of spiral power, an energy that all spiral beings, like humans, have. That's right, the laws of physics run on chutzpah.
Just as the spiral turned inward represents endless obsession and madness, the spiral turned outward spins forever into infinity, the perfect representation of humanity's evolutionary potential.
Potential Simon would use as he led Team Dai Gurren across the multiverse to take the fight to the anti-spiral. And this is when Gurren Lagann gets crazy.
Channeling
I mean, it
spiral
was
power
always
lets
crazy,
you
but-
constantly adapt to threats, no matter how overwhelming. Simon can create portals to different realities and higher dimensions. He can generate force fields, absorb energy attacks, and even merge Gurren Lagann with bigger and stronger machines.
Yeah.
Creating the Arc Gurren Lagann,
Lagann.
which is strong enough to shatter space and time with a punch.
Or the Super Galaxy Gurren Lagann, which can fire lasers that are fast enough to hit, and I quote, all time, space, and dimensions, all within a Planck instant.
That's the smallest unit of time physically possible.
Meaning each laser would have to be moving 4.6 times 10 to the 117th power times faster than light. Oh,
Hey, new
looks like
highest
this
number.
wins the award for fastest calculated speed feat in our show's history. Congratulations, Gurren Lagann.
Move over, SpongeBob. You've been dethroned. Oh, and the guidebook says they hit an innumerable number of enemies across infinite universes. You literally cannot calculate how fast that is.
But it wasn't enough to escape the anti-spiral's greatest trap, the multiverse labyrinth. An attack that imprisons Simon in his own unique multiverse, forced to experience an infinite number of alternate realities that controlled his mind, permanently arresting him in a dream world.
Except Simon and his spiral power are just built different. And after being inspired by his bro, Simon absorbed that whole multiverse to escape.
What makes this even more impressive is that this labyrinth was 11-dimensional, meaning Simon absorbed a higher dimensional structure several orders of infinity greater than himself. The jump between dimensions is basically infinite. Each new dimension adds a new direction of space that extends infinitely, thus an infinite gap in size and scope.
What?
Oh, we're just getting started. Imagine a two-dimensional drawing interacting with a three-dimensional person.
Okay. That's not too far off from what actually happened.
Because when Simon absorbed the multiverse labyrinth, he merged with every alternate universe version of himself, including an alternate universe Simon, who is writing his own alternate universe version of Gurren Lagann. And
I did not know that part. So he got to see how it was supposed to end. And I guess he saw that he was like, well, this is the best ending.
that author's spiral power made his fictional Simon real, adding another to the mix.
Wait, if every human being has spiral power, you're telling me we can all do this shit?
This all gave our Simone enough spiral power to form the next step in mecha evolution, Tengen Toppa Gurren
Gurren
Lagann.
Lagann.
This is when Gurren Lagann gets actually fucking crazy. like shooting missiles that alter probabilities so they have 100% chance of hitting you, or tossing galaxies around like frisbees. Sorry, did I say galaxies? I meant universes.
Simon's power was so immense that he started generating super spiral space, a higher dimension
Super
encompassing our
spiral.
own universe.
With it, Simon turns his thoughts into reality, letting him create his mech and all of its weapons in the first place.
Not only does this mean he no longer needs co-pilots, he can also regenerate any damage done to him or his mech just by willing it back into existence.
Like when Lord Genome used spiral power to survive quantum breakdown, or the time Mia, now the best wife in the universe, used spiral power to constantly regenerate her body from being erased at the informational level for 7 days straight.
Information in physics is essentially the ones and zeros that make up every possible outcome in reality. Nia literally regenerated from the statistical certainty of her own destruction.
If I
She
have
beat
spiral
death
power
for 7 days.
When the fuck is my leg growing back?
When even this was not enough for the anti-spiral, Simon evolved one more time.
Into
Super Tengen
Toppa Gurren Lagann.
This mech is so big, its size is literally incalculable. And with a drill somehow even larger than that, Simon and his friends shattered the anti-spiral once and for all.
Hey, cruel indifference of the universe. Meet the indomitable human spirit.
Proving Kamina's words prophetic, that Simon's drill is the drill that would pierce
Here's the heavens.
With no more worlds left to conquer, Simon chose to wander the earth for the rest of his days, in service to others.
Always looking up, for all the lights in the sky are stars, and every star another world of spiral cousins that can live free.
Correct.
All thanks to a humble digger.
Careful now. But no, it was
universe
nice.
Is a dangerous place. Should you find yourself face to face with an interdimensional vampire, alien dictators, or this one really pissed off cat,
Meow,
you
meow.
know who to call.
The Green Lantern Corps. They're the Space Fuzz, an intergalactic police force founded billions of years ago by blue leprechaun gods.
And the greatest Green Lantern among them was everyone's favorite, Hal Jordan.
You know him. You
Love him.
You
Hate him.
might hate him. But you gotta
hate him.
respect a man with a will as unbreakable as Hal's.
Until the day his will
Broke.
After his hometown got completely
Yeah.
obliterated, Hal lost his mind. He rampaged through the core, killing everyone in his path, and absorbed the central power battery, the literal Green Lantern.
Becoming the Emerald Tyrant, Parallax.
There was only one survivor of Parallax's killing spree, Ganthet, and
That's one though. Can I remember how's the oath go? Do I remember? I'm trying to think like what it was. How did the oath go? It was in brightest day, in blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight. Let's see. For those? No. It was for those or let those. It was one of those two. I think is it let those? Let those who worship evil's might beware my power, Green Lantern's light. It's been a long time. I used to be able to quote that easy. It's like I said, it's been a hot minute. I did like the Green Lantern oath. Ugh. Words.
with what remained of his strength, he gave the last Green Lantern ring in the universe to a human, Kyle Rayner.
So, was Kyle picked for his indomitable
Hey.
willpower like Hal
It's our
was?
boy.
He was just there. He had no idea what was going on. Must feel good being given the most dangerous magical weapon in existence to figure out on your own. Hey, if Colonel Sanders, Daffy Duck, Space Sweet, and a sentient fox can master it, what's
Yeah.
your excuse, Kyle?
The Green Lantern ring can do anything, fulfilling any wish its user desires as though it were a genie from a lamp.
It lets you fire energy blasts, create force fields, affect gravity, turn invisible and intangible, manipulate matter, time travel, warp reality, and erase things from existence.
You see, oh wow, that was perfect. When you see this, it was like, man, what is Jon Stewart doing in the Justice League show? His constructs were great, constructs were strong, but you could have done so much more, man. I mean, you were like barely scratching the surface of what these things could do. And how does a Green Lantern lose? Honestly, I guess if they're not they don't have enough, they're not imagining enough, and they're kind of weak-willed. They shouldn't be able to lose, honestly.
Think we're exaggerating? Well, consider the time Kyle stretched the very fabric of space to increase the Planck
Actually,
length of...
do I remember? Are these new to me? Of all the powers here, I think they're the resistance to reality warp. I think I actually knew that. Age manipulation is like the one thing I didn't know Green Lights could do that. Everything else is like, yeah, age manipulation. No, that's new. I believe that's new.
billion times over. That's like stretching an inch into a light year.
Lanterns control time and space, letting them fly so fast they can create a Speed Force singularity.
Tapping into the Speed Force requires entering a higher dimension of space, requiring speeds that are not only faster than light, but totally immeasurable. And the
They can
rings have an artificial intelligence that operates just as fast, automatically protecting its user from danger.
Like
So
the
they can
time
tap
that
into the
Boozer
Speed
Kilowog
Force.
survived being erased from existence by the Crisis on Infinite Earth.
All right, I
The
knew
ring
that.
is fueled by its user's willpower and limited only by their imagination.
While Hal may have had the greatest willpower in the Corps, Kyle's imagination is unmatched, probably because he's a comic book artist. And we know from this show they think of some wild shit.
But the Green Lantern's most
Yeah.
recognizable ability is their constructs, Kyle's speciality.
Samurai armor, pirate ships, giant dragons, actual working home computers, and his favorite, super fighting robots. Hey, that one looks familiar.
Kyle can make them strong enough to lift the
Hey.
Spectre, who weighs as much as eternity.
Or hold back a 12.3 dimensional Big Bang. Wait, 0.3?
Yeah,
DC's multiverse
that's-
has 12.3 dimensions? That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
The ring's only
Well, no,
12.3
go back.
dimensions? That is the
Why did you say that's the stupidest thing you ever heard and you go to Goofy? I mean, this Goofy slanders. He doesn't deserve this. Goofy, you're better. You're better than them. Better than this.
stupidest thing I've ever heard.
The ring's
I mean, he's
only
putting salt in
downside is
water,
that it's limited
but he
to
might be using the
24 hours
gargle.
before needing
You
a
know,
recharge.
rinse his mouth
So
out.
it can blow up universes, but it has the battery of an iPhone. Never mind, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Although I'd say Kyle's biggest weakness was Kyle. With great power came no responsibility.
Perhaps a manifestation of Kyle's self-doubt. Any reflection came too late, though, when one of Kyle's villains brutally
Goodness.
murdered his girlfriend, Alex, and put her body in a fridge.
Why?
Kyle wasn't the only one traumatized. This moment was so infamous,
Stuff
it started
into
the
the
trope
fridge.
called fridging.
For how female characters are often sacrificed as mere plot devices to further a male character's development.
So it might surprise you that it happened to Kyle again.
Kyle
All right,
finally got
what?
serious. He became a prominent member of the Justice League, faced off against Hal, and even rebuilt the Green Lantern Corps better than ever.
But little did he know, this torchbearer's greatest journey had only just begun.
In order to save
Hey, it was
Gambit
Guy
from an
Gardner.
emotional lobotomy, it's a long story, he had to master all the colors of the emotional electromagnetic spectrum.
There are 7 colors, each representing a different
All right, I know yellow's fear, red's anger, orange is greed, violet or violet is love, and one of the blues is hope. I don't know what the other blue is, and then green's willpower. So yeah, I know what's the other blue. One's hope. What?
emotion.
Alright, yeah.
The yellow light of fear lets
Yeah.
Kyle manipulate the worst horrors in your mind. The more scared you are of him, the stronger he becomes.
Orange light is fueled by bottomless avarice, possessing Kyle to absorb
Avarice.
not merely his enemies'
Alright.
attacks, but also their souls.
Red is rage, ripping out
Rage,
Kyle's heart and
anger,
replacing his
same
blood
thing.
with napalm, which sounds like it sucks, but it's metal as hell.
Blue light is powered by hope and allows Kyle to heal wounds, resist mental domination,
See,
and
there's hope.
supercharge his ring.
Indigo is compassion, reducing his
Compassion. I've never heard of the compassion ring. Really? That's all right. Compassion, sure.
opponent's will to fight and letting him open portals across space, connecting him to others.
The
Com-
final one
Alright,
was the
compassion do all
sapphire
that.
light of love. With it, he can trap
Sapphire,
enemies within crystal
duh.
matrices and control their minds. But Kyle only mastered it by forgiving himself for Alex's tragic death.
Oh, self-love. I get it. Must be nice. And with their powers combined, he doesn't just make his enemies taste the rainbow.
The lights of the spectrum merged, and Kyle became a White Lantern
Look,
with total control over the power of life.
Wiz,
Okay.
I cannot think of an attack more useless in a death battle than something that makes you live.
Empowered by the physical embodiment of all life in the DC multiverse, Kyle is vastly more powerful than any other lantern in existence.
Far
Any.
stronger than Hal, who could harness the energy of every power battery across the multiverse.
Not only can Kyle instantly heal all wounds, purify corruption, and resurrect the dead, the white light of life is strong enough to go up against threats to all of creation, like the Anti-Monitor.
okay, and that, see,
so
that's
it's
a
not totally useless.
yeah, that's a
Especially
feat.
after Kyle visited the Source and acquired the life equation. Essentially the source code to reality, the life equation is mathematical proof that life is worth living.
So this doesn't get talked about a lot. You always hear about the anti-life equation, because dark side. But life equation is a thing too.
With it, Kyle can alter all of reality at a whim, even threatening the new gods like Darkseid.
The life equation, like its counterpart, the anti-life equation, is a conceptual artifact from a higher reality. originating in a platonic realm that is, in a sense, more real than we are.
So it's not a shock that the equation made Kyle too powerful.
He struggled to control it, and it subconsciously manifested a being composed of his fears and anxieties. Oblivion. Kyle's greatest weakness was still himself.
Kyle spent his whole life struggling with the power that the gods granted him, and throughout it all, he always rose to the occasion, carrying the universe on his back.
But ultimately, the only way to stop power from corrupting is to spread it. So Kyle split the life equation into pieces to found his second core, the White Lanterns.
He's not the
together,
only one.
They shattered Oblivion, destroying the self-doubt that plagued Kyle once and for all.
Not bad for a comic book geek from LA.
And now he was the one giving out rings of unlimited power to people who weren't sure if they could command it.
So he told them the truth. You can't teach someone how to use such power. You have to learn yourself, making mistakes along the way.
But with the power of life
I mean,
at their
that's,
command, there's no end to their journey. Only
good
endless
lesson.
beginnings.
All right.
Hey, remember Beerus versus Sailor Galaxia? No? Well, that's because it was taken off YouTube for being too anime. But we've got a solution. It's our own website. That's www.deathbattle.gg. It's like our own private Patreon, with a store for death metal merch and a complete death metal video archive. It's got episodes that
Okay.
YouTube has banned, blocked, and censored, and there's even more goodies on the way.
I
So
honestly
check out
didn't know that
deathbattle.gg
they took it
live
off.
right now.
I give
All
Beerus
right,
versus
the
Galactica is
combatants
like
are
a
set, and we've run the data through all
7.8 out of 10.
It's time
Hey,
for
Super
Death
Robot Wars.
Battle!
I know that animation style anywhere. Ching.
All right, I'm not rusty at all.
Oh,
Hey dude, Green Lantern Officer Kyle Rayner here. Ring says you've got a Class A galactic super weapon, whatever that is. I'm thinking it's the giant mech. Why don't you hand it over?
Gurren Lagann's mine, officer. Just who the hell do you think you are?
oh. All right. Let's see how this goes.
I'm told I'm bad with authority.
Tell me about it. 4!
4. Oh. Once again, very imaginative.
That's nothing! My drill will pierce the heavens!
All right, it's calming the time.
Topa Gurren Lagann!
Went straight into Ting and Topa, not even, just straight to the big guy. Hey, it's Superman. That's a very, I forgot what that series was called. The little like mini series they used to do. He looks like that version of Superman. I can't remember what it. There was DC Superhero Girls, and then there was this one. It was like Justice League. It was not Justice League. They had cool designs though. I'll be honest. Like the designs were good. It's just it was a lot more cartoony than we wanted. No, but yeah, it just reminds me of that. You gotta be careful with that word. I'm for real.
Possible. See the invisible.
Touch the untouchable.
Break the unbreakable.
If you ain't know,
Now you know!
You can't block him. Yeah. Right, straight to the source wall. Source wall.
If there's a wall in my way, I'll smash it down!
That was a very free Dragon Ball Fire's Frieza spin. Okay.
Stop fighting. Think about your fear of death, your love of your friends, your compassion for me, your hope for the future. Choose life.
Have faith in the Simon that believes in you.
Now we're in Katan's era.
Super Tekken Topa Gurren Lagann! My drill is the drill that will transcend the heavens! Giga Drill Free!
All right, Kyle, what do you got? Oh, drill versus drill, huh? Unfathomable. Yep. So, return to the
The
beginning.
super weapon wasn't your mech.
It was me.
Then, Simone, I'm taking you in
Okay.
brightest day, in blackest night. No evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware my power.
Hey,
Might.
wait a second.
Beware my sight. Let those who worship evil's might.
It was let those who evils worship. It was for the let the. Oh my goodness, let those who worship evil's might. Good every time.
No evil shall
Escape
escape
my sight.
Let
Those who worship evil's might. It was let
beware my
those.
power. Green Lantern fly!
Come on, Simone. You're better. Well.
Let's see you grit those teeth!
You hit him back to a Green Lantern, huh?
You'd make a good lantern.
Simon of Earth, you have been chosen.
Just who the hell do you
Alright,
think
you
I
wanna
am?
take that.
KO!
For the guy with the snazzy sunglasses!
When both combatants possess unlimited power, it's hard
Yeah.
to judge them by our normal standards. Take speed. Simone can hit an infinite number of targets all at once, and Kyle can fly fast enough to surpass the normal concept of speed itself.
When you control space and time, things like strength and speed kind of become irrelevant.
Instead, let's analyze them through a lens more applicable to beings as absurd as Simone and Kyle. Their imagination, their willpower, and their ultimate potential.
Potential.
First up, imagination. The boundless things they could conjure to use against the other. Both could think up just about anything the other could, like absorbing each other's attacks, fighting across time, anything.
Simone did have a few attacks that Kyle hasn't encountered, like the probability-altering missiles, but it's likely
Yeah,
Kyle could
push
adapt
those buttons.
considering his ring could protect against existence being erased across the multiverse.
And in general, Kyle's constructs were a lot more creative than Simone's arsenal, which was mostly drills. Though again, nothing Simone couldn't adapt to with, say, his energy absorption. Imagination is a
All right, yeah, I didn't this. I'm so kind of I didn't do this. Well, imagination, they both win. Willpower goes to Simone. Potential goes. I think Simone wins the rest of them. I think literally they were tied in imagination, willpower, and potential all go to Simone, though.
draw.
That leaves the other main factor for both characters, the origin of their unbelievable might, their willpower.
And that's really gonna be the winning factor here, since it's the source of everything for both of them. Whoever's got the stronger willpower wins.
Both can manipulate reality on a multiversal scale with their willpower, but we can use dimensions to roughly calculate a difference. This might sound absurd for most characters, but it's necessary for beings as beyond the pale as Simone and Kyle.
The multiverse
Yeah.
labyrinth that Simone absorbed contained 11 spatial dimensions. That's 1.3 dimensions less than the multiverse Kyle's power can threaten.
And remember,
Yep.
each numbered dimension infinitely surpasses the one below.
3D.
Which meant Kyle's willpower was stronger at a base level. However, that doesn't necessarily mean Kyle gets the edge, because if there's one
Why
thing
do you think
both of
he
these
used
guys
that?
are known for, it's that they can always get stronger.
So to determine the limits of their willpower, we first need to understand their full potential.
Simone's
Okay.
whole deal with spiral power is how he can constantly evolve to get stronger. So just because Simone starts off weaker doesn't mean he'll stay that way.
Absorbing the multiverse labyrinth required Simone to leapfrog several orders of infinity in an instant. Simone made himself that much stronger through sheer force of will.
He
More than
evolved
enough
from
to
a person
close
he
the
was
gap
a
with
second
Kyle,
before.
Especially since spiral power also lets him regenerate his body down to an informational level. Kyle's never destroyed something that thoroughly before.
Without the
Huh.
ability to easily kill Simone, it was only a matter of time before Kyle's ring ran low on charge.
'Cause it has to
Especially
charge
since
up.
Simone could likely regenerate for at least a week straight, like Nia did. While Blue Lantern Light could boost Kyle's power, he's never jumped several orders of infinity in strength like Simone has.
And while Kyle could manipulate emotions to reduce Simone's willpower, Simone resisting the labyrinth's mental manipulation meant he could power through anything Kyle threw at him.
Everything, that is, except for the life equation. It
Okay.
originated from a higher level of reality and would have more than even the odds.
Too bad Kyle couldn't
Couldn't
control
control
it.
it.
It was just as much a detriment to him as an asset, forcing him to relinquish it to keep from destroying reality and himself.
Compare that to Simon,
Huh.
who merged with a version of himself, writing a version of Gurren Lagann, and using spiral power to make that fiction into reality.
A pretty similar level of reality to the life equation, and a level of power Simone had no trouble embracing and mastering by the end of his story. No matter how you look at it, Simone might start weaker, but his peak will always transcend Kyle's. Isn't that how all of Simone's battles usually go anyway? That's Gurren Lagann in a nutshell.
So Simon's
Yeah.
incredible potential eclipsed Kyle, which means his willpower was ultimately greater.
Elle's
Kyle
right.
may have embodied life itself, but Simon's
Let's see. His only weakness is that he's weaker initially. Sure. And Kyle, he's a limited battery life. That's kind of messed up. And far weaker eventually. So he starts stronger. Simon's weaker. He's strong, but as the fight goes on, that's just going to reverse. Okay. And they counter each other pretty much.
evolutionary potential would
In
shatter
abilities.
even this lantern's light.
I hope Kyle at least dug the fight, because when it comes to death battle losers, he was a dead ringer.
The winner is Simone the Digger.
Hey, that's my boy.
Death battle.
Is that Wile E. Coyote wins this? Wile E. Coyote wins this. I'm pretty sure. I don't think Wile E. Coyote's ever died. Tom's died. We've seen him die. Or when that was actually, did he? That was a dream. Was it a dream? I think it was a dream. No, was it a dream? I haven't watched that episode in so long. He gets sent down, then he gets brought back, and it's like, if you can get him to sign this before you get sent back, you know, you get to live, or you get to go to heaven. I think it was a dream. I'm like, it's been so long, but I think Wiley's got that. Wiley's gonna win that fight. But I'm happy. My boy up. I exited out of that. My bad. Whoops. But I'm happy my boy won. He deserved it. It was a good fight though. I thought it was a good fight. Kyle Rayner. Good times. But I'll see you all in the next death battle. Wile E. Coyote's gonna dominate. Thank you for watching. Thank you for hanging out. I hope you have a great evening, morning, night, wherever you are, and I'll catch you all in the next vid. Peace out.